Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one is going to be episode 9 of the D.I.Cable Guy show. It's our weekly podcast, which is the longest running episodic weekly podcast in WWE Champions history. As always, this show is brought to you by Big Red, It's Delicious, and also by TWO. They've been pinning the competition since 1897, and their next pay-per-view, which is a little ways away yet and they're building up the hype to, is going to be Summer's Last Stand, and the main event is going to feature a crazy grudge match that ultimately will have Judy Bagnell on a pole. I don't know exactly what it's about, but I can't wait to see it. This week's guest is actually Dr. Beth. Beth, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here, Mherex. Did you say Bagnell?
Yeah, Bagnell.
Okay. It seems like a blatant ripoff of something I've heard about before.
Don't know what you mean.
I mean, it's not really relevant. It's just thought it was interesting.
I would never blatantly rip off anything.
No, not you. The event coordinators.
So, I don't know for sure how TWO is doing in its creative department. Last I heard, there was some turnover there.
Oh. They might have some of that golden era Nitro people over there, because that was some quality television.
It really was. Nitro forever.
Or not.
Yeah. True. So I know a lot of people, when I introduced you as Dr. Beth, were probably expecting a different pitch voice.
Don't judge me.
Okay. Fair enough. Are you still blue?
Yeah, what are you talking about? There's a picture of me on the screen.
Well, I'm not looking at the screen.
Oh. Well, yeah, there's a picture of me on the screen.
Look, okay, so here's the deal. I don't really know anything about you. Okay, full disclosure, everyone. There have been some horrible rumors going around that I do not like female characters in the game. And
whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, my people...
ladies.
What? My people suggested that I bring on a guest to help... Oh, I don't know...
Wait, are you saying I'm an affirmative action guest?
No! You're not affirmative action.
Because that's what it sounds like.
No. I would never say that. Why are you making it like that, man?
I just want to make sure, because if that was the case, I'd be deeply offended. I thought I was on here because of what I was going to bring to the program, but if I'm here so that you can get out of some problem that you're having with audience.
Look, first off, I'm pretty sure there's a very limited to possibly no female audience watching this show. Second, you're here
if you're female and you watch this show,
let us know.
Yeah, why? I'm very confused.
Yeah. Also, you're here for your insights and your knowledge, and I've heard you have amazing gem matching ability, mainly because you like shiny things.
Yes.
But
all of this is true, which is why this is all very shocking to me.
Look, I want to tell everyone listening, I have no problem working on my female roster. I think a lot of the characters in the game are great. They belong in the game. So for those of you saying I say they don't belong in the game, I don't appreciate that. Yeah. And anyway, this has not went well so far. I apologize, Dr. Beth, if in any way I have offended you.
Well, I think we'll get through it, but It wasn't a great start.
All right. Well, you know what? What are some of your credentials? Actually, let's hear more about you.
I mean, I'm a doctor. That requires, a lot of knowledge and training and education. I mean, you'd think that would be impressive enough for you. What more do you want from me?
What's your doctorate in?
Thugonomics.
Wait, you're the doctor of thugonomics?
I am a doctor of thugonomics.
Did you go to the?
It's like you don't say like, oh, you're the optometrist. No, there's a bunch of optometrists. It's not how it works, Mherex.
Did you go to the same school as Cena?
No, he was on the East Coast. I studied out west.
Okay. Wait, are you guys beefing?
No, we get along quite well. I consider him a colleague and a friend.
Yeah. Well, right on. How do you feel then? Let me ask. How do you feel about Robo Cena? Never mind. It doesn't matter. That's a different show.
Okay.
So, we got a new event going on. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
Oh, I'm aware.
It's the looks like SummerSlam's going on, and it's a long month. It started out like 35 days, so 5 weeks, and I gotta say, I am actually really, really excited about the Chase character this month.
Yeah, I mean, as a doctor, one of the issues that I personally have when I'd like people to take me seriously, because as you've shown, I'm sorry if I seemed a little on edge earlier. People don't take me seriously sometimes, and I think a problem with that, one of the main issues, is that people tend to think that I'm cute, and I know that I'm sexy. So when you have the look that drives the boys wild, it's hard for them to take you seriously.
Do you think HBK ever felt that way?
Yeah.
I'm just a sexy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't appreciate the insinuation that I am a boy toy.
I was not insinuating that. I'm just saying.
There was. Okay. You're creating an analogy there.
No. What I'm trying to say.
I'm not just the pleasure device for men, Mherex.
You've often been compared to Shawn Michaels, to Mr. WrestleMania. You've trained under him. I know you respect him. He's one of the GOATs. I happen to think he's the best wrestler of all time. So it must be really, really nice to be mentioned in the same breath as him. Now, you're nowhere close to as good as him yet. You got a long way to go. But you're small like him, maybe a little smaller.
Mherex, I've been listening to this for years, my entire career, and for you to invite me on this podcast and bring that up, like, that's just, I'm here on your stupid little show, and I don't have to deal with any of this.
Wait, deal with what? I was comparing you to Shawn Michaels. That's a compliment.
I'm bigger than Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Not in like a Beatles kind of way. Like, I mean, like physically.
Oh, okay. Wait, no, you're not.
Moving on.
Okay, anyway. Shawn Michaels, Chase character. I'm super excited. I love the movesets. I love the gear, except, you know what? I'll let you talk about what I don't like about the gear, because I know you don't like it too.
Oh, is that the same thing? I didn't know that you didn't like it.
No, I don't like it either, man.
So, the character model looks amazing. The little, sketch on the card, he's got his hat, going great. Things get rough when he removes the hat. So I don't know if it's a perspective thing. I haven't overlaid the images. Maybe Mherex, with your Photoshop skills, you can look into if this is an optical illusion or not. But without the hat, Sean's got a fat face, man.
He's got a big forehead. I pulled him up in his WrestleMania gear while you're talking here, and I'm looking at his shiny forehead, and it is rather wide. It's very, very Neanderthal-esque, you might say.
I mean, and like, just a very thick, prominent face.
Yeah. So, in short, cowboy hat Sean looks amazing.
Yeah, and way sexier than fat face Sean.
Yes, fat face Sean, not as much. Sean, if you're listening to this, I know you're a fan. Sorry they did you dirty with the WrestleMania gear. It's okay, though, because your intro is amazing. You come out with fireworks popping off and stuff. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I feel like they've really upped their game with some of these intros. We'll get into this later, but I really like Carmella's little moonwalk where they focus on the feet. It's nice to see them throwing new things in there.
Yeah, Carmella's animation, very cool. HBK coming out, awesome. Kind of going back to the Marvels of the Universe, Masters of the Universe event, where they seem to have upped their game on some of that stuff. Pretty great character models, pretty great animations, had some new ring animations. But yeah, I'm digging the HBK and the Carmella so far this month. But yeah, so HBK, I happen to think he's the best wrestler of all time. Like, he's not my favorite is Mankind. I think most everyone knows that if you've listened to me talk much. But I think Shawn Michaels is the greatest wrestler of all time. If you were going to make me pick one, I would pick him every time, and I don't even have to really think about it. He's amazing in how many different generations. He's been in multiple stables. I love Shawn Michaels. Very excited for this card. I want it super bad, and he will be probably the second striker I take to 5-star. Just assuming I can get him.
Go ahead. You're saying assuming what?
Just assuming I can get him, and I'm going to do my best to get him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I am going to be 35 shards short of getting him.
Wait.
No matter what happens. That's just the way things work.
Is this one of those things where it's already happened in a dimension you're from and you already know it?
Yes and no.
Okay. Is the reason why you may not get him, can you not always use the button because it's such a part of you? Is that like a little too self-serving? Is it like against some kind of cosmic rule?
It kind of takes the fun out of things when you can just use the button all the time.
That's an interesting point. I guess there's someone that plays the game that sometimes has that ability, but it doesn't stop them. So I think you're maybe on a higher plane, maybe not plane, maybe just a better person, or more you like to strive for something and have it mean something.
I wouldn't say that. It's just, it gets boring if you just always use the button. That's really more what it is. It's not out of a personal moral code. It's just out of me trying to get enjoyment out of something.
Okay. All right. So are you as excited about hopefully getting HBK as I am?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think that the best non-stipulation one-on-one match is HBK versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like, because that, it wasn't for a championship. There wasn't some, it wasn't a kendo stick match. It was just a regular match with nothing on the line besides just, I want to beat you, and the other dude is like, well, I'm not going to let you. Like, just very great. One, probably, like I said, my favorite non-stipulation match of all time.
So basically,
how amazing would it be if we got a version of HBK that did his entrance? Maybe we could get an all-white gear, and he would come down.
The zip line?
No, not the zip line. So he came down like an angel during that WrestleMania.
Yes. I know. I my bad. I know what you're talking about.
I mean, the zip line one would be great too. Anyways, the point is HBK pretty good. You guys should look into him if you're not aware.
You know, when you think about the fact that if you look at the top 50 greatest wrestling matches of all time, how many times Shawn Michaels is on there with how many different people, it should tell you how good of a worker he was.
Yeah, I think in terms of worker, I don't think anyone would disagree with Shawn Michaels. I think an argument can be made by some people about Flair in terms of like the storytelling. But the thing is, so many people didn't watch Flair when he was a big thing. It was very territorial. WCW wasn't as big as WWE, so same reason why Sting probably isn't as big as maybe he should be.
I love Sting. But, he's definitely one of my favorites.
In terms of performer, I don't think you can really make an argument against Shawn Michaels. He's Johnny Gargano-esque.
I'm just trying to process that. And really, no, it's okay.
We've gone off the rails here.
You hit me with a super kick, and I'm trying to recover.
Yeah, you were doing a springboard moonsault, and bam.
Yeah, mid moonsault, super kick to the face. I'm out.
Yeah.
So we don't have him yet. We're not sure if we're going to get him. A lot of month left to go. So maybe we'll just talk a little bit. I think kind of as far as the character goes, I think from what I've seen, I think people are underrating him a little bit. I think he's going to be insanely versatile. I do think the gear is going to be very, very important for his success, especially for almost every normal human being playing this game that doesn't have the Hogans to coach him. I think the gear is going to be very important. But I think he is going to be very, very good, and this is someone that I think people are selling kind of short. I think 6 months from now when we talk about the game, people will be talking about him as one of the best strikers in the game. But super versatile.
I feel like that tends to be the trend lately. Like, everyone that comes out, it feels like when they come out, a lot of people at first look don't think that they're as good as they are. And I don't know if maybe that's because there isn't a tier list telling them that they're good. But yeah, it seems something that's pretty common. Like, new character comes out. Some people like him, some people don't like him, but I'm surprised with certain characters how you'll still find people that seem completely dismissive of them.
Yeah. I agree.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be really versatile. I really like the fact that, and I don't know if I'll even use it in the primary moveset I use for him, but I like the kick out and huge heel, especially on a striker. That's kind of cool. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of gem damage there. Finisher has got some big move damage on it for a striker, probably bigger move damage than we've seen for strikers most of the time.
Let me ask you something, Mherex.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know I'm going to do this. Are you going to kick out at 2?
Am I going to kick out at 2?
Yes. So you're going to get pinned.
Yep.
You're going to have the move loaded.
Yep.
So you could kick out right away, or you could build some drama. You could build some suspense, and kick out at 2.
Well, that depends. So if I'm in a
don't tell me about I'm going to set up the gems and try to make it so that when I kick out, blah blah.
Of course I would do that, but that's not what I was going to talk about.
Okay, good.
That depends on if it's a pay-per-view match or not and who I'm against. So if I'm going against Taker and I'm in a cell, I'm kicking out at 2 3/4.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in there against Killian Dane, I'm kicking out on 1.
That's very disrespectful.
Yes.
Why are you burying the new talent?
Because he's hairy.
Yeah. Okay, well then. I can't argue against he's hairy. I mean, come on.
That's why I said it.
I will say one thing that is popular in Japan and in the Indies, which is we've seen it a couple of times. You'll probably see it a couple of times with Matt Riddle. There's something called Fighting Spirit.
Yeah.
Which you'll have people, long match, they're barely kicking out at 2, blah, blah, blah. They'll get this enormous killer move done on them, and it looks like the match, there's no way he's going to kick out. And they'll kick out immediately. It's basically hulking up for the new generation, and I love it. It's fantastic. It's the big red of kick out.
Big red. It's delicious.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it would be nice. At some point, I think we have to get a move that not only kicks out, but I'm surprised they didn't do this for Hogan. Like, he should, because he has the hulking up move. They should have had a move where he kicks out and it just fills up all his other moves.
No. They need to have one where you kick out and win.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Yokozuna did that. Let's see how you are with your WWE trivia, Mherex.
No,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I actually don't.
So there is a Royal Rumble match where Macho Man was taking on Yokozuna, and they're the last 2 ins there, and you can see how that might be a problem. Yokozuna healthy. And poor Macho Man did some elbow drops, and he went for the pin, and that's not how that works. And then Yokozuna kicked him out with such force that he just tossed them over the top rope.
Awkward.
That would be that'd be a cool enemy. I think more people would use Yokozuna if he had that move.
I'd use him.
Yeah, I mean, so far the throwing people outside of the ring animation is very underused.
So actually, I just had a thought, and it hurt. So if it's really dumb, bear with me. Do you think we will ever see in the game special matches like where you win, like a Royal Rumble style, you win by throwing them over the top rope? Do you think we might ever see anything like that?
Maybe a special mode where the matches are like that. Kind of like Showdown is tag team. Mm-hmm. Maybe there'll be another mode, or maybe there'll be an event or something. But yeah, I mean, it becomes kind of tricky to program because it's, they have the whole style where it's based on the finishers and whatnot. But I mean, you could work on something, surely.
How about
if you're listening, gimmick matches?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how about a hardcore match? Can we get some hardcore legends in here and just have a hardcore beatdown, and we get some frying pans and chairs, and Mick Foley comes out with his baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire and some thumbtacks in a bag. Can we get that?
Yeah, I mean, that would make interesting. So you could have, if they're in a hardcore match, certain people would start out with their trademark. You'd have Sting start with the bat you did in WCW versus NWO.
That would be great. I mean, and then you could keep the move animations the same. Mankind could just do his double arm DDT, but he would throw the tacks down first and then double arm DDT you into the tacks.
No.
That'd be fun. Scopely, make it happen.
Yeah. I think if I was a hardcore wrestler, I would bring out a bag of Legos.
Oof. Yeah, dude. So there's a pain scale where it measures pain from 1 to stepping on a Lego. Where's your pain level?
Yeah. It's no joke.
It's not.
I would bring it as a hardcore wrestler.
I don't ever want to face you in a hardcore match.
Yep.
Okay. So we both like HBK. We both want him. We both think he's
going
to be fun.
Are we still talking about the game? I don't even remember
what
podcast is about anymore.
Doesn't matter. I mean, we talk about what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we got the big red plug in there, we're gonna make that sweet. We're gonna get that sweet 12-pack at the end of the week. We're fine.
Oof, big red. It's delicious.
Speaking of Big Red, I want to send a quick shout out to Southside Envy, who harnessed the power of Big Red and used that in conjunction with the button to pull Farouk, I believe, during this last event.
Congratulations, Southside Envy.
Good for him.
Yeah. Way to harness the power of Big Red and the button all in one. And really, that's why more of you should probably listen to the whole show. Southside Envy pays a lot of attention to the show. Really great supporter of the show. And good things happen to good people. So congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that he got Farouk. And these other people didn't.
He liked, he subscribed, and he shared.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Anyways.
Right. Moving on. So we kind of did it maybe a little different than we sometimes do. It's the first week and we're talking about the Chase character because, I mean, we're kind of fanboys.
Well, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. So I think we should really we've given the men coverage a lot in this show. It's been brought to my attention, and they're not wrong. There are more men on the roster than there are women by a good chunk, but there are some pretty cool women available. And this month, the free character is a trickster, and quite good actually. Very.
You could even say she's fabulous.
You could also say she was money.
All of these would be appropriate descriptions.
Yeah. Of course, we're talking about Carmella.
I thought you meant Victoria.
I'm just going to ignore that. And the moon, in particular, the moon.
Different timeline. I apologize.
Just, you know what? Whatever. The moonwalk is awesome. I just want to start with that. Moonwalk, good. Face animation, Scopely could have done a little bit better job. I'm going to say that. But the moonwalk is pretty dang dope. And I like the backwards ball cap and all that good stuff. So I think the outfit is pretty great, and they did a good job nailing the model up to the face. Maybe not as much, but...
Well, the thing is, it's like she does a lot of Botox on the lips, so they probably had some varying models to try to get it to, and that kind of confused them.
Okay, well, the moonwalk is super cool.
Yeah, I have no issues with I hadn't even noticed her face, to be honest with you. I didn't see any issues with it. But now I'm probably gonna look and then it's gonna be ruined for me. So thanks.
You're welcome. So anyway, I think this is one of the free characters you absolutely should take to 4-star gold. The events where you get free. I mean, I can't. When was the last time I didn't take a character to 4-star gold? Though, to be perfectly honest, of the free ones, it's been a while, and I know the same for you too. Yeah.
Yeah, because most of the time it's, I guess we could just take them to 4-star bronze so that they're good enough to do the event clears, and then we'll save some coins and put that into people. But again, most of these characters end up being pretty good to where it's like, you know what, I don't mind having this person in 4-star gold. Like, that's going to be a positive addition to my roster.
I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but I think she's one of the better females available. The sub is ridiculously strong across all levels. So I definitely am taking her to 4-star gold. And honestly, right now on the very, very short list of who I might possibly take to 5-star first for a female and use actual resources to do it, I won't do her like before I would say my Biggie and my Zombie Cena, but I think third Trickster to 5-star right now is probably going to be Carmella, and most likely will be my first female because the sub is ridiculous. If you have Nikki as a coach, it's even better. But Very excited about this card. The traps are really fun. Throw the traps out, hit the sub, refill your moves a little bit. Really cool card, actually. And don't sleep on it this month. We tend to say it a lot, but especially if you don't have very many strong females, and a lot of us don't, you get a 4-star gold token free. I think this is the month to pull the trigger. You won't be disappointed.
And obviously we say gold, but that's assuming that you have the capabilities to do that, right? If your roster is at a 4-star bronze level, then don't assume that you'll be able to do it to 4-star gold. What we're saying is, a lot of times people sit with these tokens and just don't use them at all, and then 2 weeks later they'll go, oh, I probably should have used some of these. So you use the tokens. It's free. I mean, literally the only thing it's costing you is coin and TP, and those are renewable resources.
Yeah. Yep. I agree completely. So if your strongest woman happens to be like 3-star gold, this is a great chance to get someone to 4-star bronze. If you don't have a 4-star gold yet, maybe you got a 4-star silver. Now might be the time to get one there.
Especially with women, because I'm kind of surprised that you said that you would use actual resources on them, but yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, because to get them to 5-star using the tokens is at this point kind of ridiculous. You have to pull them and use all of the tokens.
Yeah,
basically 4 gold is realistic, but yeah, I mean, if you want to get a female to 5-star, you're gonna have to pull the trigger on those tokens.
I kind of got a feeling like, and I have no inside information, this is just gut feeling, it's going to be a while before any of the free characters are able to go to 5-star. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I just get that feeling. I don't feel like with 5-star so new that they're just going to let you take one up for free anytime soon. I feel like...
And it should be like that.
Yeah, I agree. I have no issues with that. I agree completely. So... I would say, about the time we see maybe 4-star or 5-star silver, then maybe, but I don't know that we'll see it much, if at all, before that. Maybe a special event here or there or something, but yeah. So I am planning on trying to get 1 to 5-star fairly early, but like I said, probably 3rd trickster, potentially 2nd, but I don't know that I would go that far. Anyway, great character. This is a good month to level her up, especially if you're chasing HBK, and you're gonna need to do well in the solo to get the t-shirts, to get his gear, which I think is very important for him. Anything else you want to highlight on Mela there, Dr. Gwen?
I honestly thought you were going to call me Bob. No, I mean, nothing specifically to her, just like with everything, if you have a weakness, and a lot of you probably have a weakness for the ladies. Seriously though, if your roster is weak in the female department, you should have at least one solid one that you can use in events. So hopefully you got that with Bayley a while back. But if you didn't, just because of how, not frequently females are used right now, which sounds like a funny thing to say considering we're going to talk about all the female events. But right now it kind of doesn't make sense to use resources on the females, so you really should be taking advantage of these events where you're able to bring them up without using a token.
Yeah, for sure. And that is a good transition into, we've been having this month in particular so far, lots of female based events. I don't know if it's going to continue, if they're going to try and do more of it, because for a while we've really had very little in the game requiring you to have much for females, but we just had the showdown, which was an all-female showdown, first time in a very, very long time we've had that. How did that showdown go for you, and what did you think about that?
It went pretty all right for me because again, I have some women at 4-star gold. I know people that don't have their female roster. A lot of them had a really tough time, or in some cases just gave up on it completely because yeah, if you're completely outclassed, it's not fun. It's not fun just to get your butt whooped every match. So yeah, it turned out fine for me. I was able to max the showdown. Maybe a little bit more effort than usual because obviously the females aren't as strong. It's a lot more even across the female landscape. Yes, there's some that are better than others, but most of them you can beat someone, especially since so many of them have submissions. So yeah, I mean, it took probably a little bit extra time, but I was able to get it done.
Yeah, for me it was quite. I mean, Fashion Police is what I'm used to running. They pretty much turn one almost all the time. Win most of the matches turn one, so it was a lot slower for me, and a lot of times I might use no health packs to maybe if I run into a bad stun situation or do something really stupid, I'll lose one of my guys once in an entire showdown. Sometimes I don't even use a health pack in an entire showdown. So it was a lot more health packs used and a lot slower for me. But I don't have, Sasha and Bayley would have been a great link, but I don't have Sasha, and there just isn't those Hulk and Mr. T or Fashion Police tag links out there. I guess Lita Hall of Fame link could be great, but I mean, who's got Lita? Very small portion. So yeah, I mostly use Bayley a ton, use Steph a ton, and then I went for a while where I used, and I know you did something similar, where I used Paige. I have Paige with gear, and I would use her to
Showboat Paige, just to be clear.
Yes, Showboat Paige, to slow them down and get the moves filled, and then hot tag in Bayley or Steph with their moves all filled up. And with her throwing protect gems out, having the sub, that kind of stuff, she's pretty good delaying tactic, and getting my guys tagged in ready to go.
Yeah, and especially talking about how with a lot of the women, you're not going to win turn one or turn two. Being able to load another one who can then come in big, someone like Bayley or someone who can recycle a lot and have all their moves filled up, like Steph. I mean, that's going to be very useful. So yeah, I did. I used a similar tactic, especially. I mean, Paige was one of the people that you had to use a bunch. So I think recently they had an event where they made the gear.
Yeah, the Christmas.
In my opinion, maybe a little bit too accessible, but whatever. And even then, I think there are people that didn't get the gear. I think I complained about it back then.
Yeah,
I don't
wasn't it like each person in the faction spent $5, I think, or something like that, and everyone got Paige gear if they wanted it, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics to it, but yeah, I mean, it was to where it was pretty simple. So the thing is that yeah, you had to get these things, and then there was a prize wall.
Mm-hmm.
But then some people, yeah, if you didn't have enough, you would also get something by, like you said, having the faction pay $5, because then everyone would get those little tickets or shirts or whatever they were.
Yep.
So yeah, basically it was to the point where if you did the tour and some people in your faction paid, if you really wanted it, everyone almost had access to it.
Yeah, which is cool for players in general. Maybe not as cool when you're having to go up against Paige with gear all the time, but I know it's always fun to get new stuff. So we pretty much did a similar thing. You know what really would have been nice is a board clearing powerhouse.
I think you're jumping the gun there.
Oh no, I'm just some foreshadowing. I'm just saying that would have been nice.
I see.
Not jumping the gun, not going down that rabbit hole. Just saying it would have been nice.
Chekhov's suplex.
Yes. Yeah. So It was a little bit of a slog, but as always, I love the showdown coin that comes with that. There is an event going on with it, not maxable, so doesn't really matter. It like always we say get the free stuff you can get. After that, not the best event, but there was some good free stuff. Like so, not the worst.
And yeah, it had a bunch of coins. That's good enough for me.
Right. I'm gonna showdown always because of the coin. It keeps the machine rolling.
Yeah.
So, we had that, and then we also now have had back-to-back female events with this feud.
Yep. It's almost like it's a women's revolution of sort in the WWE Champions game.
It kind of feels that way, actually. I don't know if it's going to continue, but I mean, we've had a lot of recently. It seems like a lot of new female characters added into the game too, and then now we got the events going this month. So,
yeah, I mean, personally, I think they have had even last month, having like a all-female tour.
Yep.
Like at least a branch in the tour. So that I'm completely fine with. I don't necessarily think I'd go as far as to say like have one feud be male and one feud be female. I wouldn't want that quite yet, but yeah, I mean, if you want to give me some tours that are doable, I mean, I'm all for that.
Yeah, if we're gonna have to have a showdown, I'd like to have a mixed one in there somewhere, as opposed to all female, at least until I get some more fun links to work with, because links
or whatever. I'll suplex some dudes. I don't care.
Well, that's true, but you are, I mean,
No, I mean as Bayley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I would suplex some dudes, but I'm talking about game wise.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, I do want to say I really, other than MP down, I really enjoyed Feud this weekend. It felt
if it weren't for MP down, I mean, it was easy enough, and I'm sure there are people that are gonna hate us right now for saying that. But it actually was a very easy feud, except for matches where the opponent had MP down.
Yeah, and it's kind of, for people that have been playing the game a while, it felt more like a throwback to old school Feud, where it was about speed and about getting through the matches and that kind of stuff. And to be honest,
are you saying that that's not what Feud is about now?
You would think it would be, and we talk a lot about feuding and feuding fast, but it doesn't seem like until this week necessarily we've been seeing a lot of that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
It is.
Check out the Feud episode if you haven't already.
Yeah, it's a great episode. I think you might find some things in there that are useful.
Which is funny because I think on your video you then had to say, hey, for this feud, don't do any of that.
I think it was a
slightly different strategy, but some of the same principles still apply.
Yeah. Speed is always going to be important in Feud. Maximizing your line for points, always going to be important in Feud.
It just becomes irrelevant if you physically can't create a line bonus, which most of us couldn't.
Correct. So it didn't necessarily... Your Feud lineup didn't necessarily take the same kind of thought as it normally would have, trying to maximize your line bonuses. However, the guys you brought or gals were very, very important. If you set it up wrong, I'm sure you had a horribly miserable feud.
You probably had people yelling at you too in your faction.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. If you were one of those people that was sitting there for 15, 20 minutes a match, you pissed off a lot of people. So hopefully
I would actually like to take a moment to congratulate. There were seemingly a lot of people that feuded very responsibly based on what the goal of the feud was. So obviously, feud, typically people go for big points. They're trying to do that, whatever. But in this feud, like, the points didn't matter. Like, it was all about that faction event. And I was shocked that so many people were running Bayley with 2 fodders, because that was absolutely the right thing to do. And I was just very surprised at how often that's exactly what people were running. So, good job, people.
Yeah, definitely good job. And
And if
Bayley's
you didn't do that, shame on you. Just
yeah, Bayley's a thing, by the way. She's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we both Bayley'd the whole feud. I mean, that's what we did. Which, you know, free character. Everyone had her. Maybe you didn't work on her when she was free. Probably annoyed you didn't now. That's part of why working on free characters is a big deal and good. To do.
We've mentioned on the program before. I mean, Bayley probably the best woman on your roster. Not for sure, because some people have, other people, but there's a good chance that Bayley is the best woman on your. And sadly, at this point, you probably shouldn't level her.
Yeah. So, a lot of people might argue Zombie Paige is one of the best females in the game, right? I mean, we can safely say a lot of people would say that, I think.
Yeah. Which is fair. I mean, but the thing is, to get her, you had to have done a ton. You had to have grinded a bunch. So, yeah, she was attainable, but also not someone that absolutely everyone's going to have. I mean, Bayley was free. They said, here's a character that, for a vast percentage of our player base, is going to be the best female on your roster. Enjoy. And so many people ignored it.
You know, what's interesting and why I brought it up is I have Z-Page. My Z-Page is 4-star bronze. My Bayley is 4-star gold.
Yeah, because Z-Page, you would have to put actual resources in there to move her up.
And Striker is one of the most crowded classes I have. Striker and Powerhouse, so it's really difficult for me to work on a Striker unless that's someone I'm going to use a bunch, because there's so many projects that would make an impact on my team. I mean, you're talking.
And the thing is, Z-Page is really good. I mean,
she is.
That don't know, she's basically just Zombie Stone Cold, except that she's a Striker, which means she does more gem damage. Which that's always, if there is an argument against Zombie Stone Cold, is that, well, he's a little low because his gem damage isn't as high. But once you get him to gold, then it takes that bump, and now it's not so bad.
Right.
And the only people that would be better would be Striker, and then here's Paige. So Zombie Paige is really good.
Very good.
But you shouldn't level her either.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's just, unless you have a ton of extra Striker resources and coin, probably not. Like she wasn't a bonus character this event. There's no reason to run her. And even when you can run her, there's other options too. And they probably were free token wise. So
yeah,
I think that's kind of one of the overlying themes of female characters in general, is a lot of them are better than you think. And there isn't, for the most part, that one female that you're just like, wow, so much better than everyone else, so much faster, so much more useful. Like, there's no fashion police in the female world. There's no Hogan and T. There's no Earthquake with gear. You just don't have that. So you don't have the Kofi. I mean, running around out there, Kofi don't care about MP down. Kofi don't care. Kofi just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Lana wants to be like a baby Kofi, but
can't do it.
Still not Kofi.
No, Lana's good. She's gonna win a bunch, but not fast at all.
Lana is, I would liken her. She's a tough lady. See what I did there? No? Yes?
No, I see what you did. I just don't like it.
So, Lana, I feel, is very similar to Tough, where if you're using her against someone that is below her, she's going to seem really great, because she's going to overpower you, she's going to do moves, she's going to do a bunch of moves. It's going to be a lot of very shiny gem damage explosion. But if you are on par with her, you basically just wait for her to finish making her noise. You kick out, and then you beat her, which is exactly what happens with Tuck.
Yeah, I mean...
So, while I would agree, Lana is also pretty good and better than people give her credit for, yeah, you shouldn't level her either. Well, I mean, if you got her as the monthly, you already have her gold. So if you have her gold, yeah, feel free to. But if you
honestly,
pulled her, yeah, I wouldn't level.
Honestly, I'm leaving her unleveled for Blitz. It's going to be a 4-star that I can crank through Blitz. She's got a 1 MP move. I can throw purple gem generation on and just go to town.
Yeah, you know how I feel about unleveled 4-stars for Blitz.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So in terms of feud, so you mentioned that Bayley was the main person, and the thing is, like, yeah, she was a boosted character, and she contributed points for the event. But even if this was a regular feud, Bayley would probably be one of my primary feuders anyway.
Absolutely. I mean, like, so pretty much with the buff, you got to see what she would be like if you had Sasha coaching, essentially, with the finisher and how hard it could hit and stuff. She really good, couple viable move sets. One doesn't recycle, one does. Super good female superstar and free. I mean, like I think everyone pretty much saw it was Bayley pretty much suplexing the world out there, belly to Bayley all weekend long, man.
Yeah, I really enjoy Bayley. I'm very glad I have her at 4-star gold. If you don't already have her at 4-star gold, you probably shouldn't pull her.
Yeah, unless you're like, because you're probably going to need tokens to take your acros to 5 now. So unless you have a bunch of extra lower tokens, probably, don't invest too much.
And the thing is, like, if you have extra tokens, there's probably another male acro that would be a bigger benefit to your lineup.
Yeah, the guys that look like they're going to get a lot better at 5-star too. A guy like Stinger, a lot of people probably sleeping on, who's great already. I know you love him. He's fast. He's going to get even better at 4-star. Just throwing, that out there. Plus, I mean, we're obviously going to see new characters coming all the time. So maybe now's not the best time to catch up if you're behind on a class for a female, unless.
Yeah, and again, when we say don't level her, that's based on the assumption that you are going to level the free character during the month.
Yes.
We're not saying don't level any females. We're just saying it doesn't make sense to try to catch up. Like, you lost, get over it. Focus on the free ones moving forward, because in terms of the benefit of the resource,
efficiency,
just because of the amount of events we have that are male versus female, it just makes way more sense to apply those resources to men.
Yep, be efficient with it. I will say one thing that scared the piss out of Bayley this feud was China.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that put up any trouble, obviously if you went against Bayley and things went badly, you might not kick out.
Yep.
So if you didn't down her and then she kicked out and then you had to do it, that may not have gone. Trish, obviously, because plus 10 MP is apparently useful. Who knew?
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. But yeah, the person. It's funny because you mentioned China caused a lot of panic. In Showdown, the person, for the most part, I didn't really have any issues. There was one match that I remembered I felt very helpless, and it just went completely wrong. And would you care to venture a guess who that was again? think I told you already. So
this feud?
No, this was Showdown.
Oh yes, yes, I do remember Zombie Charlotte.
Yes. So things were going very well. I wasn't really having issues with anyone. I was avoiding zombie pages just because, like you said, in a showdown, if you get stuck in an extended stun, you can very easily just lose just by the fact that you're not going to get to go again. So I wasn't really concerned with too many opponents. I was trying to go through my retaliations to get higher in the what's it called, reputation or whatever.
Notoriety.
Yeah. So I was going through and I was just kind of picking everyone that wasn't a zombie page, and I went up against Zombie Charlotte, which in retrospect was a very bad idea because I have Zombie Charlotte and I think very highly of her, and apparently I forgot that when going into this match. So Zombie Charlotte makes 6 random blast gems. She has a submission that leaves blast gems, and then you have 2 yellows, which could either create more red gems to fill those 2 moves that I just mentioned, or you could blow up blast gems. That's what the second yellow move. So if you use a combination 3 of those 4 moves to what best suits you, it's not fast. You need a couple of moves to a couple of turns to get it set up. But once it gets going, things get very bad very quick. And yeah, Zombie Charlotte, someone that is a lot better than you probably think. But unless you already have her at 4-star gold, you probably shouldn't level her.
Well, I will say taking her to 9K is going to be worth your time, though.
Yeah. Trainer wise aside, obviously level your trainers, but I'm talking about taking someone all the way to gold. Although I would say we mentioned about better use of the resources. Powerhouse probably is a class where you likely, if you are playing at a higher level, probably have a ton of Powerhouse tokens.
Yeah, it seems universal. Everyone's most is Mark Henry medals. I mean, like, I have loads of them, loads and loads of them, and Powerhouse is the class I think I have the most 4-star golds of, and I have the most Mark Henry medals. Pretty sure.
And she gets another red move that makes her even better at 5-star. So Zombie Charlotte, very interesting, but 9K I think for sure. But unless you happen to have a ton of shards, yeah, maybe not someone to take up, especially because, like I said, she requires multiple moves to set up. So she is her father's daughter. She's a bit clunky, but when it works really well.
Yeah.
So I think better suited as a hot tag, as a kind of tool type person.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, sorry, we went back to Showdown for a second.
No, that's fine.
But yeah,
to the point we were making is, here's another female a lot of people wouldn't put necessarily high up on the tier list, or well, not that there's really tier lists anymore, and if they are, they're not accurate, but a lot of people undervalue. Great 9K trainer ability, very useful superstar, can put you in a world of hurt as well. A lot of females like that. People will joke about Zombie Sasha, also another really good character in my opinion, super fun to use, and I like using her.
Someone I'm working on her to 9K because, again, really good trainer ability.
Yep.
Yeah, it's coach technically, but whatever.
Yeah, all the same. We know what you mean. So yeah, the feud was pretty fun. China was scary. But then you're left with the choice of, or I am, do I want to dump a bunch of resources into my China who's 3-star gold? Not really, when I still need to put a ton into Triple Tour, Triple H, Masters of the Universe needs a ton of resources. My NWO Ted still needs a ton of resources. It's hard to, when you're talking about kind of game-changing guys that are used a lot, to work on one particular character. You know?
Yeah, Acro Triple H is great. Once I can make some more pancakes, he's going to 5-star.
I cannot fault you in the least. He is pretty amazing. And for those of you
I do have him. I do have his moves leveled up thing. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, if you push that button, you should use him.
Now, so we're kind of veering off a little bit. So
yeah,
talking about women. So we've mentioned the people that kind of showed up, but it was kind of limited in terms of the people that showed up because, again, people were trying to put people in on purpose that were underleveled and focusing on people that were getting the bonus for the event. But some other women that I think general purpose good, and in some cases would also be good for future feuds. I mean, we could do a quick feed down. It won't take too long. So how about we do that? You all right with that?
Mm-hmm. No issues.
So, Striker, we've already talked about Zombie Page. It seems like, Striker is another class that's very strong, especially for female. Because we have Ronda also. So Ronda, if in feud, you got that double yellow build, where if you have Zombie Nakamura, you're going to be able to break a lot of extra gems. You can avoid a cascade. You can even do the submission and then blow up the board with the X-Break gems and then hopefully try to do it all. And so Ronda, obviously very good. I mean, for a while, she was the
cream of the
crop. Yeah, there it is. She was the cream of the crop for the ladies division. And yeah, I would say of the women back then, where if you're like, okay, if you're gonna maybe that makes sense, but as Mherex said, Striker is already, pretty heavy. You probably have a lot of people you want to level up. If you were going to Striker, yeah, Paige is very good. Ronda is very good. No one's gonna fault you for leveling up either of them. Just know that it may not be the most efficient use of your token. Yeah, but if you have her at gold, I'm sure you love.
All three strikers available. Trish being the third. All very good. So all very, very good.
Yeah. How did we end up in a world where Trish was better than Brock? Like if you had
Scopely math?
If Trish Stratus got into a fight with Brock Lesnar, how is it that on paper Trish would be the favorite?
They changed her sub and gave her a better sub. That's the difference.
No, yes, I know how. I'm just saying how.
I just told you how.
I don't like the disrespect for Brock.
I that's fair, but it is what it is.
Let her. Trish can keep the sub, but let's buff Brock.
Okay, fine.
Give them some respect.
Buff the beast. There, you heard it here first. NBT needs some love. Give him some gear.
Yep.
Plus 3 MP. Make Brock great again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Acro, obviously, we love Bayley.
We do love Bayley.
So, Mherex.
Oh no.
What do you think about Lady X-Pac?
She's actually really.
You spent months talking about how X-Pac is terrible. He's the worst thing ever. Mherex, what do you think about Lady X-Pac?
In the current meta, Lady X-Pac is awesome. So, Ember Moon, you can see right here on my screen, 3K talent. Went up against 4-star bronze Alexa Bliss, just trying to weaken her for my teammate to get an easy win. And I think I ended up doing almost 100k in damage. Granted, he didn't have, or she didn't have, their Bliss set up to be very fast. So, but that being said, 3K Ember Moon did 100K damage nearly in a feud. I think in the current ladies game, she's very solid. She's very fast and can hit pretty hard for a female. So I like her a lot. Running her blue, blue, black, the one MP trainer, because I hate dual MP trainers.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of what I've tried telling you with regular X-Pac. Like,
no, X-Pac's not good.
Regular X-Pac is good.
No.
The problem is that we've gotten to a point with men where
Yes.
there's a lot of men that are better.
Yeah, he's tier 2.
Yeah, like X-Pac is really good. He blows up the board, he recycles, he does a lot of really good things, but it's just now
Not
new
enough.
characters are doing bigger and better things to where, yeah, he's, in my opinion, not someone that should be considered, cream of the crop.
Right. The
But
other
it's not. Yeah.
the other big one would be, who neither of us have, and she doesn't exist, is Hall of Fame Lita. Quite good. Jimmy Clone, quite good.
Yeah.
He was
especially,
the best.
Especially this feud. I think she got a buff to multiply gems.
Yeah, she was dirty.
Yeah, that did not go well.
No, it didn't.
So, the other acro ladies, to be honest with you, I like them too.
Yeah, they're good. They're solid. They're usable.
Alexa is a slightly worse stinger.
Yep.
So same concept, but her gear isn't as good.
And her move charge is higher.
Yeah. So, but same principle. But yeah, can be turn 1 with the submission, which is something that Stinger cannot do. And just adorable. I mean, come on, look at that face.
Yeah. Very. Yep.
So, Bliss, I really like. And then someone that everyone hates, and I honestly don't really have a problem with, is Naomi.
No, she's good actually.
So
not fast, but she's very good with the right trainer setup.
No, yeah. If you're using it right, you recharge the red every red match, and yeah, if you're doing a submission every other turn, and that submission is longer and getting buffed, you're running Zombie Stone Cold and regular. Yeah, you're gonna win that match. So it's very surprising when I hear people talk about how terrible she is, and how I've seen things in writing, like you mentioned on these tier lists where it says, oh yeah, Naomi is still terrible, it's still impossible to win a match with her. And it's like, how are you losing matches with a giant submission that reloads?
Right? Throw X-Pac on there, you throw the submissions on the reds, you break the reds, then you get a match and you're doing it all over again after you drain them completely. It's really hard to lose with her.
Yep. And that's why submissions, very, very strong. Again, not going to make a lot of friends in feud by focusing on submissions, but for tours, submissions are your best friend.
Yes, they are.
Interestingly enough, tech, much like regular tech, yeah, kind of okay. I mean, I guess maybe.
Yeah. What have we got?
Doesn't really excite me.
3 total options like striker, and one of them you probably don't have.
Why don't you talk about what at one point you thought was the greatest thing to come to the women's division?
Lita, yeah. I was super hyped when she first came out. She was going to be fast, do good damage and all that. The double yellow set. And then very shortly after that, got a lot better characters. So I don't like any of the techs. If I had Becky with gear, I'd probably like her. But none of them are super fast. Becky's just really annoying.
Yeah, incredibly annoying.
Super annoying. I never want to play against Becky when she's making the whole board silence gems. I just don't have any of them I want to use. Lead is solid still. She's gonna, do.
Yeah, she recycles well. I mean, if you play her smartly, she's gonna get the job done. But she's not gonna get it done as well as
Bayley, Steph.
Yeah, we're not even there yet. Ronda,
Carmella.
Yeah. So,
Shoot.
one person that for a while I was kind of interested in, but then not so much, is Asuka. So I
If
think Asuka, if you have Jimmy, becomes a lot more interesting. But I think if you don't have Jimmy, it's just not worth the resources, and you're gonna take forever to win matches.
Yeah,
So
the main problem is the speed of the matches, the animations and stuff. Like, I like her sub build, with the two 1MP moves, and then just putting all sub stuff on her.
yeah,
Trickster Bray, Austin 316, and Bruno. Her sub is crazy strong, but it's just way too slow to be viable, like in
yeah,
any normal setting.
yeah. I like Jimmy because doesn't Jimmy make extra countdown gems?
Yeah, you get one extra countdown gem. Yep. So instead of
Yeah,
one, you're
so
getting two.
especially at higher level, like
Yep.
you're making more of those column break gems and more of the green gems,
Yep.
which lets you cause more chaos and fill up the sub faster. It's viable, but just not
Slow.
someone I would prefer to use.
Yeah. Tech is probably the not probably Tech is the worst female class. I feel comfortable saying that. Probably. No, not probably. Tech is the worst female class right
Yeah,
now.
the tech female class is the tech class of females.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then we moved to
Oh,
Trickster, right?
yeah.
And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 female tricksters. Apparently, every woman is a trickster.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm telling you, I'm saying that's the message Scopely's sending. We got three
Oh,
techs,
okay.
we
Yeah,
got three strikers.
you need to
We
clarify.
yeah, we got three techs, three strikers, and
I mean,
two, four,
it's
five,
clearly
six
it's clear that
tricksters.
someone at Scopely has been scorned.
Yeah,
Someone someone at Scopely making the decisions
all women are
has been
tricksters.
wronged. They feel that women are sneaky, and as such, has made them tricksters.
Uh,
Scopely, who hurt you, Scopely?
so interestingly, 6 tricksters and 6 showboats. So apparently, when they're not being tricky, they're showing off.
Yeah,
Come on, Scopely. Why do you hate? Why you hate women?
I mean,
They can
in
be
Scopely's
strikers.
in Scopely's defense, they haven't made a bra and panties match yet.
Oh, that's a very good thing. I like to think we're past that now.
Yeah,
Besides, no one wants to see Becky Lynch in that.
I mean, I would argue I'd be fine not seeing Becky Lynch in general.
Same, actually. I know this is not
'Cause,
popular. We're not Becky fans, though.
no, and I'm not even talking about in the game. I'm
No,
real
yeah, we're
life.
talking
Like,
about the wrestler. Yeah.
yeah, she's just a gimmick, and it's not even her gimmick. Like she's just Lady McGregor, and she's done well with it. But like, um, what's his name? Brother Love had a saying where he was like, "Oh yeah, everything is great until the bell rings." Like Becky is very impressive. She talks a big game. She can be kind of entertaining. But then that bell has to ring, and you actually have to have a match. And then once that happens, it's like, oh, really? That's what you do? Like, that's not impressive. That's not great.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, there's so many women that are actually like legitimately super good. I mean, currently Charlotte. I mean, that's where it's at. Um, Asuka is really good. Kairi Sane was really good, and she just never got a chance to show it on the main roster because they made her into a Asian caricature.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of really good women. It's funny that in an era where we have super athletic women, the most popular one is the one that isn't all that good.
Right. She's always seems awkward in the ring to me. My favorite, I mean, Charlotte, I think, is the most skilled, no question. Um, I like Rhea Ripley a lot. And then Candice LeRae quite a bit, and both NXT wrestlers. But Bianca Belair, super talented.
Yeah. From a character point of view, I think Bayley and Sasha's heel work is incredible.
They're super annoying, so they're doing it right. They are really doing the heel work right. I mean, so annoying.
And someone who is a very good, obviously not as good as Charlotte. When you're talking about Charlotte, has that mix of actual ability and personality. I think Lacey Evans is also really good.
Yeah.
Like she's been a face a couple of times. I like her more as a heel, but yeah, I mean, super impressive, very athletic. I mean, good looking lady, just everything that you would want out of a female superstar.
Yeah.
Give me Lacey Evans.
You know, as long as we're talking about real wrestling now, I would love to have seen Beth Phoenix in wrestling today with what they do with the female superstars, with all the athletic superstars and stuff like that.
Jump in the gun.
I don't care. It fits now, dang it. Fine. We'll talk about it later. Continuing on.
Before we get there, so all right, let's sorry, we segued. You want to talk about Beth?
No, it's fine.
Steph is really good. Trickster Sasha is better than you probably think, and worth taking the 9K once your roster is at a point where you're dealing with taking people to 9K just for their training.
Yep.
Someone who gets absolutely no respect, and I think it's ridiculous, is Natalya. Natalya is really good. Like, she makes 2 or maybe even more. I think at larger, once you get to gold, she might even make 3 rows of botch gems.
Yeah, she's underrated.
And then with Mark Henry, you can
break them all,
destroy a bunch of them to either refill your yellows, cost cascades to refill your yellows, work on that to get you purples. And then she has a purple submission. I think she has a health steal also. She has a MP steal, which again, we've mentioned how MP steal is kind of useful early on, but eventually you should outgrow it. And for females, there aren't enough to where MP steals are really something you should bank on. But yeah, Natalya is much better than people think, and I don't appreciate the disrespect that Natalya gets. No, I've seen videos where content creators are getting beat by Natalya and they seem shocked by it. And it's like, yeah, it's because Natalya's great. That might be an overstatement, but she's, again, a lot better than people realize. You shouldn't level her, though.
No. Yep.
Carmella, obviously. Carmella, you should level.
Yes, she's free, and she's going to be very good, probably for a very long time. The sub does so much damage, I don't know that it'll ever be irrelevant, and the fact that you can throw woods on her and then break with the purple move at 5-star, break the purples to get to the sub, and then have the trap gems recycle into the break again. And that sub is such high damage. Unless they nerf it, I don't see her becoming irrelevant at any point. There might be faster people, but she's always going to be very, very strong.
Yeah. Bree is good. Bree has the Mr. Perfect build.
Nikki.
Yeah, that lady. They're twins. It's hard to tell them apart. I'm sorry.
Right. Backwards hat girl.
Yes. Or are both of them? Oh, no, the other one has a headband.
Yes.
Yeah, so the one with the Mr. Perfect build that's a trickster, whatever her name is.
Yes.
She's very useful. And I think that's a common theme amongst the females, is that a lot of them use builds that at some point were considered very good in the male gameplay.
Yep.
But because males evolved, now they're kind of thought of as second tier. Whereas females, they haven't come out with a bunch of like super overpowered females yet. So these builds that used to be good for males, guess what? They're pretty good for females right now. She's a really good example.
Yeah, which is why you'll hear us talk about Alita as Jimmy and Ember Moon as X-Pac being really solid, really, really good or fast characters. Same thing like Nikki. And then because Mr. Perfect used to be the cream of the crop.
Yep.
And then Kairi Sane.
Nikki would be someone who, I think maybe if you pulled her at 4-star, maybe level her and her moves. I don't know if I would evolve her. Maybe I would take her super. But it seems like the Bellas tend to be used a lot.
Yeah.
So if you had a leveled Bella, that would be kind of useful, but I wouldn't dump a ton of resources into it.
I'm slowly working her up. She's got a good coach ability with the subs. I'm hoping she gets a 9K soon like Bruno, where it adds an extra turn to the purple subs. So, yeah.
Then in the Showboat world, we have...
we kind of skipped over Kairi, but that's fine. She does bleeds and no one has her. She's very, very good. Maybe one of the best.
We didn't skip over her. Remember I said she was really good and they didn't on the main roster.
Okay, fine.
Because Naya kept dropping her on her head.
Yeah, Naya likes to hurt people.
That's not fair. For all we know, Naya's a lovely person.
Actually, I'm sure she doesn't like to hurt people. Naya just ends up hurting people.
You know what's funny? I'm not going to say I met Naya, but I saw her just walking around on the street in New Orleans for WrestleMania weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she had an entourage, and she was wearing like a baseball cap and some glasses, but it was like, hey, look, that's Naya. And she just had a couple of people just kind of walking with her to not create a crowd. But yeah, it was interesting. No one really came up to her.
Was one of them an MP trainer since she had her entourage with her?
I'm not sure. At that point, I don't think I was playing champions or
hopefully
starting.
Hopefully no one was using Slick Rick on her.
I was going to say, yeah.
Not Slick Rick.
That's the one thing.
Co-owner Rick.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew where you were going.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Did they not fix that yet?
I don't know. It's probably fixed. I don't ever try because I don't want to know. I've never tried it.
Yeah. Speaking of female counterparts, we have the lovely and talented Wendy Richter, who I like.
Jeff Hardy clone?
Yeah. So because she has the multiply gems, she hits a little bit harder than a normal Showboat would. She recycles really well. So yeah, if you got her up to gold for her events, she's definitely someone that's solid and usable. If you didn't, you probably shouldn't level her.
Right, you shouldn't. You know who I want to talk about for Showboats, and this might surprise you, is I like Charlotte Flair's gameplay a lot. You throw the sub on some yellows, it makes them into multiply gems, then you destroy the multiply gems and do it all over again. It's kind of fantastic.
Yeah, the double blues, so one of them you can target multiply gems. So the sub makes multiply gems, but then you have a blue that you put multiply gems wherever you want, and then the other blue makes them into yellows wherever you... Hey, why don't you make the multiply gems you just made yellow, and then your sub's full again.
And you can also use the spear too. You can use double yellow green. I mean, and then once that sub cycle gets going with the destroy, or it's just kind of crazy. You're just like, oh, I'll just keep subbing and destroying. Yeah. She's really good.
She's really good, and you're probably gonna get a bunch of shards for her.
That's why, yeah.
If you were to say, hey, I'm going to focus on someone, yeah, I mean, I could see doing that because at least you're not going to be using TP as a resource.
Yep.
So that is one of the asterisks with this. I mean, if you happen to, for some reason, get a bunch of TP for someone, then, yeah, suddenly that becomes more viable. But, yeah, Charlotte, I agree. I also really like her. I have her at 4-star, but level 1. For female blitzes.
Nice.
Yep.
I have her 3-star gold, and I do the money cash thing, and I slowly am leveling her with the shards that I get 35 every week.
Yep. The person that I want to highlight in the Showboat is Paige. So I
know you love her.
I've liked Paige for a long time. I think she's really good. I think she is super useful. Um, I would say she's probably the most useful female character in the game if you have her gear. I'm not saying she's the best female character in the game. She's the most useful, I think. She has the most utility. We
She's
mentioned
kind
earlier.
of
Go ahead.
she's kind of your Dango. Like
Yeah.
she's
I
she's
mean, she's kind of the closest thing to Dango in females. Like, yeah, she'll make some protect gems. They're not as strong as Dango's, and the finisher isn't as strong as Dango. So not as good, but the way that I used her and she was super useful in Showdown was you bring her out there, um, she gets some protect gems and uses the sub early, and then you set up her cross break gems, and then either she breaks them and refills herself, or you tag in a stronger hot tag and let them break it because their gem damage is going to be higher than. And then once they do that, all their moves are probably going to fill because you blow. So yeah, super useful in Showdown. Um, and in Feud, yeah, turn one sub, which as we all know is something that's very useful. Um, are there? I mean, besides, let's see, Alexa can turn one sub. Naomi can turn one sub. Paige can turn one sub. Who else? Female can turn one sub. Is that it?
probably. Yeah, I think that's probably it.
So yeah, I mean having one of those,
Maybe
kind of
Naya
useful.
at 4-star gets a sub. I don't know the MP on it right off the top of my head. Maybe Naya.
Yeah, but I mean, you shouldn't level Naya.
No, technically I think Steph could if you ran the yellow and made the purple, as long as you didn't force a pin.
Yeah. So Steph's really good.
But it's kind
Because
of
again, turn
iffy.
one. Yeah, turn one. Also a feud with the cheap yellow.
Yep.
But yeah, Steph is very good, very useful. I really like Steph, not Steph.
Paige.
Paige. I also really like Steph, but that's not who I was talking about. Paige, and especially if you have her gear, I mean, someone very, very useful. But yeah, maybe not someone you should level. I think you probably should have done Wendy, and if she's already gold, then yeah, Paige, if you have her at something else, all she really needs to do is survive long enough to tag someone
Yep.
in Showdown. So.
Yep.
But yeah,
she's pretty.
Showboat's interesting for females.
She's pretty useful. I think the cream of the crop showboat is Sasha. Neither of us have her. I just missed her by 200 shards, so that's kind of a meh. But yeah, Paige is very useful. Good setup person. Not quite in Dago's league, but definitely useful.
Becky, like in real life, is just kind of there.
Yep, agreed.
So, okay, here we go, man. Now is the time.
Okay.
Now we can finally talk about Brie Bella.
No, that's Cass.
Yeah, we got to talk about Brie for a second.
Go ahead.
So Brie is Cass. So another person that's suddenly forgotten in the male division. What works out pretty well. Makes a bunch of blast gems, which is going to be a running theme in the powerhouse division. So Brie makes a bunch of blast gems. Can use a purple move to help recycle. I mean, very, very solid character. And as we mentioned with her sister, a lot of the times they are either a bonus character or get some type of a buff in a tag team match, which is annoying because I have one and not the other. And I think the same for you.
Yeah, I have Nikki, but not Brie.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you happen to pull her, probably worth leveling maybe to 4-star to try to be able to do some bonus matches. But otherwise, yeah, I think that one's kind of up to preference. I'm assuming there's some people that are super into the Bellas. I'm not one.
Yeah, neither.
Like as an actual wrestler now.
Yeah, me either.
We've already talked about Zombie Charlotte.
Yep.
So no need to rehash that. Naya is solid. Again, she gets that sub.
Yep.
Her finisher breaks a big area, which is very useful for reloading things. So, yeah, if you have someone that breaks a bunch of the board, or someone that has a finisher that breaks a large area that helps you refill, those two things are going to be really good, especially in the powerhouse division. See what I did there?
Yeah, and that's the next
So
two. That's the next two left to talk about.
yeah, so China, you talked about how China was scary.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk about China.
So her 4-star move is a purple move, changes an area to red, primary gem damage color, hits really hard, then fills up both reds, which makes bottom 2-3 rows, something like that, into blast gems, and then the other red destroys the middle row, blows up a bunch of the board, blows up the blast gems that have extra damage on it. Very nasty, a lot of damage, gonna recycle, no fun to get hit by if you're Bayley and have that buff for the class disadvantage. So yeah, China, good. But
Yeah, but China.
downside
Go ahead.
downside is a lot of us got her at 3-star gold because we didn't play the Vault Shard game with her. And it's going to take a lot of resources to level up. I do have enough China tokens now from the Showdown store, but she's 3-star gold with a long way to go and then a bunch of evolves. So I just don't know how quickly I will get her leveled up.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
again,
good, though.
yeah, I mean, I mentioned how at this point I wish I had China, because those are the 35 shards that I'm not going to get for HBK.
Yeah.
But yeah, same wise, like you said with Zombie Page, very good, but yeah, probably not someone worth focusing on right now just because they're not featured as much. But Mherex, what if I told you that you could have someone that blew up the board, had a finisher that would destroy a big area to help you refill, had a submission where you could put the gems and make them into multiply gems to help you reload, and for a small population you wouldn't have to put any resources into leveling her up? How would you feel about that character?
Well, man, Bob, let me tell you, I would be absolutely ecstatic about that and be all about that
If
character.
such a creature existed.
Yeah, if hypothetically one could obtain such a thing.
Yeah, she would be magnificent.
Yes. Yes, she would. She would also play a lot like Powerhouse Warrior, who a lot of people like.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people
She
are
would
saying,
also make use of the new Cactus Jack 9K ability.
she would. A lot of people I've heard say they don't think she's necessarily very good, but you get 9K Cactus Jack and throw it on her with steel, and then even better if you have Zombie Cena because you get the extra cross break. I believe then at 4-star gold she's like making 6 and destroying 6, or 5 and 5, something like that. Either way, you're going to blow up almost all the board as a powerhouse, and then you're going to hit a pretty heavy damage finisher with a very big area destroy after that if for some reason they're still alive. Yes, the move charge is a little bit high at 9, but almost no women are turn 1, and almost no women will beat you turn 1. And the one that or two that I can think of that can are both acrobats, potentially, or at least one of them is in Bayley. You have the class advantage. She won't keep you down. You'll kick out, and then you'll blow up the board and probably kill her in one turn, assuming you get your match.
You've given a lot of analysis for this hypothetical magnificent creature. It sounds like you've even made her a powerhouse. Does such an entity exist, Mherex?
It really does. In fact, it was just what we feuded so hard for, and a lot of, I think, I don't know, maybe a lot is the wrong word, but I think 6 or 7 factions, so at least 700 people, maybe 8 even will end up getting her. I have to look at the milestones, but anyway, a decent chunk will have her 4-star gold. If you did well in the bags, a good maybe 1 out of 4 or 5, assuming you could do a bunch of the tours and your faction got a decent amount of the milestones, you had a real good shot at unlocking her at 3-star gold. But I think people are being a little too harsh because their move charge is high, which is fine when you put people away, especially in the ladies game where it's not quite as big a deal, because no one's going to put her away on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about feud. So the reason China was so scary was because she basically turned Bayley into tough. Like, Bayley did her big dance and it was very impressive. And then China just kicked out and said, okay, now it's my turn. And that was terrifying.
Yeah.
So Beth, again, I was trying to have you mention, I don't think at any point you actually even said her name, which is very disrespectful.
The Glamazon is amazing.
Yeah. So Beth is going to pretty much play the same way, where she's not going to do her thing turn 1. But if there's no MP reduction, she's going to get you turn 2. And turn 2 is going to hurt a lot. And turn 3 is not going to be that much better for you.
Right.
And if the match is still going on turn 4, you're probably going to lose.
I can't see it honestly getting... I mean, Showboat probably won't kick out, and they have the biggest health pool. Maybe if a Trickster dodges the move, but other than that, I mean...
I mean, if you have a line bonus that buffs gem damage or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so I mean, essentially, I don't think there's anyone that thinks that China is not that great. And Beth, pretty much, she's not a copy of her, but very similar, I would say, tier-wise or general gameplay-wise. Blowing up the board, doing things.
Yeah, I think China's better, probably, but way less people have China than have Beth. And like in my particular case, 4-star gold, don't have to dump any tokens into her. Already incentive to take her a talent up to help your faction max the event. I'm excited. Plus dual MP coach, yellow. For those of you that don't have ACOM, can help a little bit there. And we finally get a second blue, other than Razar, for the dual MP. So, you know, a lot to like there. And I plan on using her a bunch.
Yeah, and another thing, with China, don't you need those tokens to evolve her?
Only from 3-star gold to 4-star bronze, then she goes back to regular.
Yeah. So if you had both at 3-star gold, Beth would be far more accessible if you decided that you did want to level her.
Yeah, accurate, unless you already had the 120 tokens.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people didn't.
Yeah. I mean, Beth, for me, I would say, thinking back, you know, a lot of people talk about Lita and Trish. I think Beth was way better than those two. I think of previous generation females, I think Beth is easily my favorite.
Agreed. And I think if Beth was in her prime wrestling now, with the way wrestling is, she would be probably if not the biggest star, one of them, for sure.
I mean, you say in her prime, like, I think she would be a pretty big deal even if she decided to now. I mean, she's been in those Royal Rumbles. I mean, she still looks good. She's in shape. She can still do moves. She can still do what she's doing. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of value to, you know, being at home with your kids. But yeah, if she wanted to, I'm sure she could still go.
Oh yeah, no question. Agree with you. And
So
put on a heck of a show. Super strong, super athletic. Very good wrestler. Obviously, she does a bunch of NXT talking and stuff for the announcing, so she's gonna do really well with promos and stuff. Um, it's too bad she's not still wrestling actually, but I think really she's kind of the bridge from when you think about it, where Attitude Era female wrestling was kind of just mostly degrading for the most part.
yep.
Really, I mean, they were out there to look good, to be half naked, that kind of thing, and then now you get to where Beth kind of, yes, she looked good, but man, she could wrestle.
Yeah, I always thought the Glam Slam was very impressive, especially because she was bigger than all the other women. So it looked very devastating. And I loved how she just did the little roll up into the pin, like almost like a little, she would slam them face forward and then just rotate with them to get into the pin.
It's
I hope
funny.
that I hope that move looks like that. I'm sure. One thing I hate in this game is they have the finishers, and I hate that they don't have the finisher specific pins. So
Yeah,
they'll have the finisher. It'll look like they're in a pinning predicament, and then the next frame is just like a regular pin.
like Goldberg's jackhammer where he put the leg over.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
So
you know what's interesting is I was watching a YouTube thing on like some of the more impressive feats of strength or moments that stood out, and the Glamazon was on there for when she picked up two ladies at the same time and like Canadian backbreaker two of them at the same time. They're like nothing like that had been done in the ladies wrestling ring up to that point. They'd never seen that kind of strength from a female character. So I think she
yeah,
did a lot for moving the ladies wrestling forward to actually being something that's good in the sense that they're actually wrestling, putting out entertainment product instead of just being used for their looks.
yeah. So I think at this point we can safely say Beth Phoenix is the official female wrestler of the D.I.Cable Guy podcast.
Absolutely. Beth, if you ever listen to this, you're amazing. We love you. You and Edge continue to have happy little babies, but come back and wrestle because you're awesome.
Yeah. You mentioned the double pickup. Didn't Cena do that with Big Show and Edge?
That was also on that list. Yes,
Yeah.
Big Show, and Edge. Yep.
Yeah. So I know it's become very popular to hate Cena, but I've always liked him. I mean, you can talk about like moveset, limited moveset, whatever, but he's great on the mic.
Oh yeah.
He's been around forever. He's a huge draw. The kids love him. And really, it's just a bunch of dude bros who are like, oh, screw that dude.
Yeah.
But that man is strong. Like
Oh, yeah.
I I have an athletic background. I've worked out most of my life. That man is scary.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, when he's in the ring, when he's struggling to do something, he's pretending 100%.
Yes.
Like, there have been matches where, it's popular in the ring, they sell, they pick someone up. Oh, they hold their back. Oh, I can't do it. There was a match where he was doing that with Big Show. And then when it was time to do the big move, he just picked them up and tossed them like it was nothing. Like, people sleep on John Cena. John
Yep.
Cena's pretty good. That's why I was really excited about Robo Cena, because finally there was a good one that I could actually use every now and then.
You know,
But Cena, crazy strong.
he was never my favorite, but I always kind of enjoyed his stuff. And now that he's not there, I don't think. I mean, I miss having him at manias, at shows, just in general. Like you said, he's great on the mic. And as far as the strength thing you're talking about, Giant, uh, he said that Cena, when he picks you up, it's you're just like solid. Like He's like standing on concrete. So,
Yep.
and which brings me to something else I want to say. Big E is stronger than John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, all these people. Well, the reason I bring up John Cena is because John Cena is much smaller than Big E.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no question. Like pound
most
for pound.
People, yeah, most people with Big E's build aren't actually as strong as they look. Like, Big E is very strong, but he also looks very strong.
Yes, he does.
Cena is in great shape, and he's actually stronger than he looks.
Right. He's just crazy. I mean, like, I think too. You think about the fact that he's done more Make-A-Wishes than anyone else, and it's not even close. There's a lot of reasons to really like John Cena, so sometimes the hate isn't necessarily fair.
Yep. And just to put a pin on the whole strength thing, I mean, Cena and Big E, there's a lot of like squats and Olympic type movements, which when you're dealing with like powerlifting, all those guys are always going to be stronger than bodybuilders. So bodybuilders are strong, and they're going to be stronger than normal people, but the way that you work out to get big muscles and a impressive physique is different when you're just trying to efficiently move as much weight as quickly as possible from point A to point B. So that's why you get someone like John Cena and Big E with freaky strength. So,
and we didn't even mention Mark Henry, strongest man in the world, literally.
Yeah. So, anyways, no one listens to this podcast because they care about health and fitness.
They don't.
So how about we play a quick game and we put a pin in it? Or
Let's
is there
do
anything
it.
else? Anything else you'd like to say about the ladies?
No, Glamazon, official female character of the show. Beth Phoenix, if you got her, congrats. Enjoy, level her up, use her. She's great. Beth, come back and wrestle.
Yeah. So we're going to play the game, taking the WWE Champions Universe by storm.
I'm excited.
So we're gonna add one caveat to it.
Hit me with it, George. Hit me.
So I feel like we need to nerf a couple of the questions.
Because I so efficiently beat you last week? Is that why?
I mean, I didn't know this was a competition. I thought we were just having fun.
It is fun to beat you.
All right. So the questions about class and era, narrow it down a little too quickly. So to change things up a bit, you can't ask any of those questions until question 10. And for now, you can ask the other one after question 15.
Okay.
So the 10th question can't be that, but the 11th question can, for example.
I got you. And then the 16th one can be the other one.
The other one, correct.
Okay. I'm ready.
So with that in mind, let's the game begin. Go ahead and ask your first question, sir.
You have the character picked out?
Yes, I do.
You're not going to change it?
Not anymore. Now that you asked that, I mean, I was thinking about it, but now you put me on the spot. Kind of have to keep it.
Okay. Is this wrestler a female?
No. See,
Dang.
That would have been too topical.
Ah. Okay.
I was gonna do a female just because obviously.
Yeah.
This is a female episode, but
I was trying.
I could make it a female.
No. There's not very many. That would have made it really easy. I was hoping you'd make that mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, no class and era. That's interesting. Where would I go with this? No class and era. Does this wrestler have more than one version in the game?
Yes.
Okay.
That is 2.
Does this wrestler have more than 2 versions in the game?
Yes. 3.
More than 2. That narrows it down some. Okay, does this wrestler have more than 3 versions in the game?
Oh, hell. I want to say no, but I have to check. You said more than 3? Was that the question?
So 3 or more, yes. No. More than 2 would be 3, more than 3 would be 4. So yeah, more than 3.
He does not have more than 3.
But he did have more than 2, so there's 3 versions.
Correct.
Just to clarify. Okay, 3 versions.
What question are we on?
Was that 4?
I believe so.
3 versions.
I'll start using my fingers to keep track.
I mean, we could write this down.
Nah, fingers. We're good.
Man, who all has 3?
Talk it out, Mary.
Okay. Geez. I'm thinking, how many does Austin have? He's got Showboat. Nope, it's not. Wait. Is this wrestler bald?
No.
Okay.
That's 5.
Okay. So it's not him. It's not him. Ooh. Ah, haha. How would I narrow this down? I think I know who I want to guess or narrow down, but how to determine if it's him or not? Does this wrestler wear sunglasses?
No. That's 6.
You wouldn't do the same one 2 weeks in a row, would you?
I promise nothing.
That would be really sneaky.
6 questions, sir.
Do one of these 3 versions have a mask?
No.
Okay.
7.
That would have been really sneaky. Ooh.
Use your words, Mherex. Think out loud.
Does this wrestler have a beard?
I'm gonna go with yes. 8.
Okay, I think I'm narrowing this down a little bit. I was thinking maybe Bray, but the beard thing threw that out. You said yes, so it could potentially be Bray. I think because there's 3 of him. Yeah, and I think there's 3 Roman Reigns, and he's got a beard. And you were kind of sketchy on it, and Roman's beard isn't like bushy like Bray's. So I'm leaning towards trying to narrow those 2 down. How would I...
That's excellent out loud thinking, by the way.
Yeah, you said to think out loud, so...
Yeah, love it.
So there's not dead air time. How to determine... Because I'm pretty sure... it's one of those 2 at this point. But I can't ask... eras. Okay. I know what I'll do. Do one of these 3... Wait, no. Yes. Do one of these three versions have a health steal move?
Oh, hell. You're making me click on a bunch of buttons. Apologize. This was not a question I was prepared for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Roman has a health steal and Bray does not.
The answer to this is no.
Oh boy. All right. What question am I on?
Is that 9 or 10?
I think that was 10.
Oh, 10? Okay.
We'll call it 10. One more.
Then, was that your 10th question, or this is 10 now?
I think this is 10 now.
Okay. That's what I thought too.
Oof. How many Seth Rollins are there? Because he's kind of... Does he have a beard? Seth Rollins has a beard. How many Seth Rollins is there? He doesn't have a health steal. No, Zombie Seth, Tough, Striker Seth. Okay, could maybe be Seth Rollins too. Unless I'm missing one. Am I missing one? Do we really only have... Do we really only have 3 Seths?
I think you're right. There are only 3.
Yeah. Oh, there's 3 KOs too, so it could be KO. He's got a beard. Okay.
Dudes have beards, man.
Do one of these versions have a zombie character?
Yes.
Oh, jackpot. Okay. Oh, wait. Does ZKO have a health steal? Does one of the... Does he? I don't think he does. No, he doesn't.
That is 10 questions. So you may now use one of the OP questions.
Yes.
If you so choose. You don't have to use it this turn, but you can now use one.
So where does ZKO and Seth, right? That's who I decided? Yes, because zombies. ZKO and Seth. Both are is this character modern?
This character is modern. So you've used that question up. You cannot ask about class until question 16.
But I can ask about other eras, if, let's say, for future use. If I had got it wrong, could I have asked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I know it's modern. So ZKO is modern.
11.
And Tough is reality, and Architect is, and Zombie is modern. Okay. Is this character a zombie?
No. That is 12.
So not a zombie. So that means... Okay, what's Tech KO? He's reality. And not a zombie. So new face of America. Let's see. Modern. I am ready to guess. Kevin Owens, new face of America. Final answer.
So I would like to remind you that if your final answer is incorrect, you automatically lose the game.
Oof.
Just that we mentioned that last week. Just wanted to remind you.
Oof. I wish I could sort by zombies. Kane has more than... He's not a zombie. Kane has more than 3. No, he didn't have a mask, so it can't be Kane. Cena's got more than 3. It's modern, so it's not Austin. It's not Seth. Roman doesn't have a zombie. Who are the other zombies? Nakamura doesn't have a beard, and there's not 3. Now you have me questioning. Brock. You like Brock. But the only modern is the zombie.
Does Nakamura not have a beard?
No, I don't think so. There's only two. There's only 2 Nakamuras.
Define
anyway.
Beard.
I don't know. Facial hair. There's only 2 anyway. So
okay.
it's a moot point. I'll lose the game if I'm wrong. I can't. The people have waited long enough. So I feel like I'm overlooking someone and you're gonna laugh at me. No, so Zombie Nakamura, no beard. Regular Nakamura looks like he has a beard. Ooh, wait. How many Balor? It could be Balor. It definitely could be Balor. Okay. I gotta determine. So it's either Balor or New Face of America. Does this character have a bleed?
Let's see. Yes.
And it's modern. It's not KO. I almost lost that. Okay, it's Finn Balor, striker.
It is indeed Finn Balor, striker. Once again, the good doctor saves Mherex from himself.
True facts.
So, good job with that. Yeah. I was actually quite pleased that I had thrown you off the scent. And it almost would have worked if it wasn't for those meddlesome kids.
Indeed.
So, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I thought that was an excellent game. Excellent job, Watson. I've actually really enjoyed doing the show with you this week. I have nothing negative to say about you. I'm not going to be the internet this week.
Fantastic. It's about time. I mean, let the internet not say that Mherex is not a man of the ladies.
Indeed. So with all that, I guess my final thoughts will be thank you guys for listening to this show. We both enjoy doing it, and we will continue to do so. Make sure and leave your comments. Would love to see more interaction on the Discord with the show. If you want to potentially have the good doctor here have a character in mind ahead of time, you could maybe talk to him through DMs or something like that. We also are going to be doing a cream of the crop where we kind of talk about the best of each class according to what we think. We're going to be doing one of those like tournament kind of style things, I think. So if you want anyone considered, let us know about that. Otherwise, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And good luck out there.
Yeah, and quick shout out to Robert De Niro. He was the inspiration for the cream of the crop. He asked about what we thought about people just individually outside of perks and, tag team links and whatever.
Wait. Robert De Niro?
Yeah, is that not? I mean, it says Roberto D, and on the internet, people are just kind of like shortening stuff. Is that not Robert De Niro?
No, Robert De Niro does not listen to our show.
But the guy is Roberto D. I mean, what do you think it is?
So
Roberto Delakowski?
So I said I wasn't going to be the internet this show, and you're making this really hard for me, sir. So I'm just going to say, leave it at that. No, it's not Robert De Niro. At least I don't think it is. And
that's all I'm saying. It might be.
Okay, it could be. Maybe Robert De Niro listens to the show.
I'm calling Robert De Niro.
Okay.
You can't stop.
Roberto D / Robert De Niro, thank you for your vested interest in this show. And I feel like we should give a shout out to one of our other longtime fans who we didn't talk about this show, but we're always concerned about trying to get the show out in a timely fashion just to keep him happy. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Tubob?
Bob doesn't listen to the show. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, he's been ducking me for months.
Ever since, since
I laid down the take that round table, and no response.
Yeah, when's he gonna come back with a rebuttal?
Yeah, ducking me, ducking the good doctor.
Of course, I'm talking about our longtime fan, Payroll.
I don't know if fan is the right word, but
Troll?
Longtime clicker of the button that plays the show.
Yes.
I don't think he enjoys that he listens, but he listens, and I do appreciate that.
Indeed.
We appreciate all our fans, all three of you.
Yes, thank you guys.
So, on that note, guys, remember, it's a game. Relax, have fun with it. Mherex, turn it off.
I'm trying to turn it off.